Welcome to the region's only public safety radio talk show. It's time again for the Sheriff's Report, your weekly radio call from Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich, now in its third year on the air.
Radio base to the Sheriff. Come in, Sheriff.
Good afternoon, good morning, depends on when you're listening to the program today. This is a Sheriff's Report with Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich. I have in studio with me Kent Adams, the founder, guru. What other title can I throw in
there?
The
crazy nut that came up with this idea, Ozzie. That's who it is.
Exactly.
You didn't have to agree quite so fast.
I'm just here to please. We're going to continue the discussion that we started 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
You couldn't make the show last week,
Right.
so we filled in with a discussion about I-1639, which is the initiative that people passed last year
Right.
that is going to lead to our state attorney general is sponsoring legislation to now ban all assault weapons.
Yes.
Which, folks, last year when you voted for I-1639, you basically classified all semi-automatic weapons, firearms, as assault weapons.
Right.
So the whole issue, the whole crux of 1639 was simply to get that definition.
Yeah.
Because in reality, there is no such thing as an assault rifle or assault weapon. It's a made-up term by the progressive left.
You know,
I don't mean to be mean to progressive lefts if you're
Right.
listening, because I'm just as mean to the alt-right as I am to you, because
I've noticed that.
You're both really wrong on issues anymore.
Right.
And you use information and tactics that I just don't agree with. If you're going to sell the citizens of this state, this county, this city on an idea, use true facts. Don't lie to
This
them.
is becoming a problem of the initiative process a lot, because the title of it and often the description and how people describe it, which isn't necessarily the language of it, is often, more often than not, misleading.
It is.
Yeah, and somehow we've got to tighten that to truth, if you will. And then I have no problem with initiatives. But when you out and out lie or deceive the public, as we've seen in several initiatives, that's just not fair.
And what's even worse is, some people have talked to me about and really beat me up on, the fact that I don't agree with I-1639. I don't think it's constitutional.
Right.
And it isn't. And they go, well, we voted for it. We passed it. You have to. I went, there's one thing.
That isn't how it works.
That is not how our government
Right.
works.
Yes.
You may have voted on it. You may have passed it. But you didn't change the Constitution of the United States, and you didn't change the Constitution of the state of Washington.
Well, the unfortunate thing, Ozzie, is not only locally, but nationally, we've seen candidates be elected that don't understand the Constitution, either the U.S. Constitution or their state Constitution. That says an awful lot, and it's dangerous, really.
Well, we're not a democracy. People make this crazy notion that we're a democracy. We're really not.
No.
We are a republic that uses democratic ideas and mechanisms
For the election process and all of that, yes.
But the reality is, the republic form of government is designed so you elect people to represent you, and they are the ones that are supposed to be making laws and everything else. The initiative process really is gamemanship.
Yes.
And
yes.
it's dangerous. It is becoming highly dangerous because it's no longer truthful. And that wouldn't be so bad if you got in trouble for lying to the voter.
Right.
But since our state Supreme Court
Says
back
you can
in
lie.
about 2006, 2007 said, hey, it's okay to lie.
Yeah.
What
happened?
That was the death
you
knell
and me
for,
when we were kids and we lied. Okay.
It was bad news.
Yes, it was.
But the thing is, that was the death knell for the initiative process.
Yes. Yes.
because you no longer have a
Right.
process where people are telling you the truth.
Well, and you can get outside money to come in and $1 million
Stoke the
or
fire.
whatever and spread those lies, and truthful people don't always have those kinds of dollars. You know, the grassroots people and so forth.
Well, let's cover some of it, just a little
Yeah.
bit of it, because, like I said, 1639 is not going to go away for me for foreseeable future, because I have to deal with it on a daily basis.
Yes, you do.
This was literally sent to me the other day from a constituent that's very upset about what has happened. And here's some of the information that our state attorney general, Bob Ferguson,
Yes.
is using to justify his push for a ban of assault weapons.
Someone who wants to be governor too.
He will, yes, he's already working that one. They define an assault weapon. Again, if you have to define something or create a definition, that's
Right.
amazing. But this definition doesn't really fit the one that they just passed, so it's odd.
Okay.
But it says here that assault weapons are 11 times more likely to be used in mass shootings than handguns. Do you know that is categorically a lie? That is
I only know
false.
because you've told me, but yes.
Just Google it.
Yeah.
Go and find the information. Rifles are the least used weapon in any crime. It's the handgun, folks, the handgun that has the highest, body count, if you will,
And easiest to conceal.
in mass shootings.
Right.
Virginia Tech.
Right.
All right. It wasn't until recently, I mean, as in last year type recently, that the assault weapon was used more frequently, but it still was not used as often as a handgun.
And
So-
certainly not 11 times.
Not 11 times more.
Yeah.
And who put this information out? Well, it gives you the information on that, and it is Mother Jones.
Okay.
Mother Jones came up with that number. I would like anybody that has contact with Mother Jones, if they could contact me, I'm really interested in where they got that number. I want to know what context that they use, because we have reams of data that will tell you that rifles and assault weapons are used least.
Well, Ozzie, the fact is, having watched the last couple of weeks of the news media and how they've gotten things so wrong, it doesn't have to be truth anymore. It has to be how it appears. Let's go with that. And even some on news programs on ABC and so forth talk about, well, it really doesn't matter because we're out to get the president or we're out to get so and so. And
They're not even hiding it anymore.
no. It just, you know who I feel sorry for?
The
My
people.
grandkids. My grandkids.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's who I really feel sorry for, what country they're going to inherit. A lot going on. Let's really talk about what else is coming up in 2019. Can you believe we're in 2019 already? Where did the time go? At least you don't have another election this year.
Well, I don't have another election ever.
Oh, okay. Oh, but you're running for mayor.
Oh.
You're running for governor.
I love those rumors. I
know.
Discouraged
I only
part
bring
is-
it up to give you a chance to
A lot of
deny it,
grief.
okay?
Just grief is what you want to give.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's easy to do, to give you a bad time.
But the reality is I can't believe how many people have asked me in the last week to run for mayor. Folks, I've learned a long time ago about some key things about life. You have to have great passion for what you do.
And that's not where your passion is.
It's not where my passion
Yeah.
is. This is where my passion is.
Yeah.
Doing
And teaching
this
coming
job.
up. Yes. at some
Teaching
point.
teaching is a great passion of
Right,
mine,
right.
and that is the next phase of life for me.
The reason people keep saying it, though, is, and you know this in your heart, that people so trust you that you would handle it very well. Okay? That's where it comes from, Ozzie, and it's a real compliment to
It
who
is.
you are as a person. And so, yes, I bring it up to tease you, but it also says that you have that kind of... If you ran, you know you would win. I mean, that's the pure fact.
Well, I'd give it one heck of a go, but
Well,
I don't think anybody
you would win.
anybody
Okay.
has a lock on anything.
No, that's true, but you would win. Sorry, you're not going to win this argument. You may win a lot of things, but you're not going to win this argument. Several things on the agenda for this year, and one is the whole forensics issue that's coming and dealing with. Talk about that, would you?
We have an outstanding forensics unit within the Spokane County Sheriff's
Right,
Office.
right.
It also serves Spokane Police Department. It's basically a shared asset.
Right, right.
And our goal, and we're on the verge of accomplishing it because we just had our reviews, is to be a nationally accredited forensics unit. And like I said, we're just waiting for that blessing to come
Yes,
through because
yes.
we've done all the work. We've went through the review. Now we're
Now you
just
sit down and wait.
waiting for it to
Right.
give us the blessing that
What
you
will
are.
that mean?
It means that we operate under the best practices, the best policies, and procedures to serve this community.
Okay.
Accreditation
Really puts that stamp on it, doesn't it?
It does, and it
For court and
it is
everything
very
else.
much a really pain to get accredited
Okay.
because it is a lot of work and a lot of effort has to be put into it. And our folks in our forensics unit have, for 2 years, worked towards this goal. They're there. I hope that within the next few weeks I'll be able to come on air and
Yes.
we've done it.
All right.
But we have some very talented people, and we have solved homicides using techniques that, quite frankly, have never been used before,
Wow.
or found evidence that is very, very unique. So I'm really proud of them. I'm proud of the effort. So that's forensics, Department of Emergency Management,
Okay.
which is an entity that most people always forget about,
Mm-hmm.
that most electeds neglect.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the director of the Department of Emergency Management. I work for all the other electeds in this in the county,
Mm-hmm.
in the region,
Mm-hmm.
and it saddens me the the lack of engagement that they have
Mm-hmm.
within that process, and we need to fix that because this unit is the one that when bad things happen,
Yes.
like massive snowstorms or firestorms
Right.
or
And they're going to happen.
terrorist events, those type of things, they're the ones that bring all the assets to the community, and we're working towards accreditation in that realm.
Wow. Okay. That's kind of fun and exciting, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Is
Again,
that
I just
sta-
wish people paid more attention to it because
Well, they only pay attention when there's a
when they
crisis.
need it.
Yes, yes. What kind of staffing do you have for that? Do you have someone dedicated on a regular basis, or is it just you call the team together when there's something going
no,
on?
this is a full-time unit.
Okay.
Most counties our size have anywhere between 17 to 34 people in that unit. We have
Wow.
7.
Oh, okay.
That goes back to my
Yes.
Thriftiness. You tend to fund what you value.
Yes.
Apparently, the safety of this community isn't valued enough, and it is a frustration. But they do a great job. We've had multiple events in the last 13 years
Okay.
that we've received statewide recognition of.
Right.
Can you do something to help the rest of the state understand what you're doing?
That says a lot.
And it does.
Yeah.
The people within that unit are some outstanding folks. They do a great job, and they right now are at the beginning of a very long and arduous 2-year process to get us accredited by 2020.
Okay. It's obvious we can all look at the snowstorms and the firestorms and the other issues that happen, and they're going to happen. But what does the team do right now, for instance? There's not a snowstorm. There's not a firestorm.
They're preparing for it. They're
Okay.
planning for it.
Okay.
They, planning, mitigation, and recovery
Okay.
are the big pieces
Okay.
that we do. We are always updating the county's comprehensive plan.
Okay.
We help other entities with their coordinated operations plans. They're called COOPs.
Okay.
We don't do COOPs for entities, but we help them and we give them advice and we give them
Right.
platforms. We give them
Because it's probably
everything
assigned
they
to like a
need.
part-time person or a part-time job at some of these other places, right?
Sadly, yes,
yeah.
but one of the reasons we don't do it for people is we can't control that entity. Let's say the city of Spokane. I do not have the ability to look at each and every department
Right.
head within the city of Spokane and go, you know, by the end of February, you need to have your section of this done.
Right.
I don't have that juice. Only the mayor can do that.
Right. Right.
So,
Do you get good cooperation?
no,
Oh,
we don't.
Okay. Okay.
We
I
have.
don't want you to name anyone, but
Yeah.
you know, 'cause
We have
we'll
to.
both get the phone calls.
Yes, we will. And we'll get the nastygrams, but no,
But
it's.
that's something that citizens could ask their police departments, their other offices, and so forth. Where are you on your comprehensive
Well,
plan?
it's not the police departments and it's not the officers. It is the mayors,
Okay.
the city councils.
Okay. So they
We just
elected-
had our planning our policy board meeting
Okay.
last week. We couldn't even get a quorum to show up. And this meeting in January is our where do we take it from here discussion for
Right.
19.
Right.
We don't have a quorum to show up, so we can't even do business.
Oh, gee.
So, it's always a struggle. 13 years of this, and it's like, I'll tell you what, you really like us when the
Yeah,
bad thing
when you need
happens
us.
and you need us and you want it done
Right.
now. That doesn't happen if you're not in your seat in January
Right.
with us, so I can explain to you, here are the needs, here's what we need to do.
And they can
and
explain
here's-
their needs too.
Exactly.
Both ways.
But
Right.
they're not focused enough and they're not
Right.
taking this important enough. So if something happens in your neck of the woods and it doesn't go smoothly, these are the people that you need to talk to,
Right.
mayors and city council.
Right. One of the things that I'm pleased to see is in the past to current is you have an outstanding training opportunity and you bring in people to come be part of the training and be in the classroom and as students and so forth and speakers and so on. But that's expanding.
It is.
What's going to happen this year? What do we see?
This year, we start our quest for national certification and accreditation within our training unit. We're working with an international group. They're actually post directors from every state in the nation, and post is the police officer standards and training. These are the people that actually develop curricula and everything else for law enforcement academies in all the states. We work with them to get all of our training certified through them, since the state of Washington doesn't certify training.
Okay.
So we have working towards having all our training certified by IADList, and we're working to have the training unit certified and accredited at the international level. So that's a big chunk to bite off on, but if you do not train, you don't develop professionalism.
Right.
If you don't train, you don't develop skilled workforce.
Exactly.
And our goal, and quite frankly, the vision of the sheriff's office is to train and become the most professional agency in the state of Washington.
Great.
That is the vision.
Well, Ozzie, I would expect nothing less from you and your team. And I'll have to say, you've had some of your deputies in here on your program and so forth. I'm always impressed with the staff that you have. They're loyal to you, obviously, because you're the leader, but they're good, decent people.
Yes, they are.
And that really makes a difference. And they face a lot of adversity out there on the streets. Your everyday officer out there. And we all have looked at the last week or two in the police department and in the sheriff's department and so forth of of some deputies and policemen having to take action against people. Everything from taser.
They've been attacked.
Yes. Are you seeing a real uptick in what's going on? It seems to me like just in the last 4, 5, 6 weeks, but I'm that average citizen out there, and when I read it to my wife in the morning on my iPad going, well, here's what's in the news, the first thing I think of is you and your deputies out there, and with the police department and all of them around here, of what danger they face every single time. And some of them are pulling over for traffic, and they deal with major issues too. Yeah. I mean, it's not going to the robbery or something where you expect you might face a gun, but someone that, with a knife or a gun running towards you.
Kent, that's been increasing at a rapid pace since August of 2014.
Which was
August of 2014.
That was the Dallas issue, wasn't it?
That was Ferguson.
Yes.
I don't know if
that really set the tone, didn't it?
That it caused this.
Yes.
It caused this disruption within our society. And folks, if you haven't read all the Ferguson documents, you ought to, because once you read the actual facts, you realize very rapidly that the activists, that the media, and quite frankly, leaders in our own government lied to us, because Ferguson was not what they portrayed. Ferguson went like this. The individual that was shot had committed a strong-arm robbery. He was contacted in the street. When he was contacted, he went and he beat the police officer inside his vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
To the point where at one point he had control of the officer's weapon. The officer was able to pry the barrel of that weapon away from his belly, because that guy had it actually stuffed in his belly, gained control. The first round went into the door. That's when the person disengaged. And one of the most amazing questions was asked by the prosecutor in the grand jury hearing was, well, the guy left, took off, why did you follow him? And when I read that,
that's an idiotic question.
It just froze me.
Yes.
Because this is coming from our Department of Justice.
Yes.
I'm going, excuse me, the guy committed a strong-arm robbery, and he also assaulted a police officer.
Yeah.
My job is to not let that individual get away. The individual turned, rushed the officer again, and when he was about 5 to 6 feet from the officer did shoot him.
Yeah.
Totally different than what is portrayed by the media, the activists, and sadly, even our own government. Yeah. That incident turned into, in December of 2014, 2 New York police officers being ambushed and killed.
Yes, I remember that. Sitting in a van or a car,
yes.
Didn't they?
And it continued to escalate all the way to 7/7/2016, which is Dallas, where 5 more died.
Okay.
A week later, 3 more in Baton Rouge died. This has been escalating since. My question is, and quite frankly, my question to the national media, when are you going to fix what you did? Because you did this. You can only demonize a group of people, an individual, a profession, so long until they're no longer respected. When we pull you over, we're not trying to cause you extreme grief and everything. Right. We're just doing the job.
Right.
If people just simply follow directions, nobody gets hurt.
Right. Right.
But we now have a society that questions and challenges any ounce of authority.
Right. Right.
As almost an affront to their even being around. And you can't have that in a free society, because we have to be able to, sir, if you simply follow directions, no one gets hurt. And there's this huge fallacy that's been portrayed and perpetrated, is that there's a problem in use of force in America as far as the police. The one thing they'll never
very
do,
rare.
Yeah, the one thing that they'll never do, the people that say this, they'll never bring you a peer-reviewed, documented research study. And the reason why? Because when you do the peer-reviewed research study, what you find is simply this. American police officers and deputies do not use force to the level they should most of the time.
Right. Yes. Ozzie, we have 1 minute left. It's your
It goes by quickly,
I know,
doesn't it?
I know. Well, you just so enjoy having me ask you about mayor and governor and all that.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I'm going to hear about this after
Yes,
the
you
program.
will.
Yeah. So it's your program. I'll let you close it.
Kent, next week I'm going to revisit a little bit of I-1639 because, again, all the emails I'm getting and the response to the last show.
Yes.
I'm going to see if I can get an individual that works in that arena, Robin Ball, to come on air and discuss the issue with me also.
Good.
And I'm going to start exposing the flat untruths that are being used, again, by people in our own government to strip you of your constitutional rights. Law enforcement.
Yes.
Every year I get a poll. And I get the results of the poll every year also. 89% of your law enforcement at the head level say that we should have the ability to own any type of weapon we want.
Right.
95% of line rank and file believe the same thing. Your law enforcement opposes all of these bans. So we're going to discuss that. We'll talk about I-940 in the future, and then we'll just continue down. Folks, this is Sheriff Ozzie Knezovich with the Sheriff's Report. I hope you have a great day.
The Sheriff's Report is a joint production of Spokane Talks Media and KTW 630 AM and 96.5 FM, which are solely responsible for its content. Ask a question, recommend a guest, or watch this program again anytime at SpokaneTalksMedia.com. Have a safe day.